You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast.
Just in the headset on the fly. Hi, everybody. It's time for us to get back to what we do best, and that's flapping our cock holsters. Because we have to talk about wrestling. Revolution's coming up. Sing's last match. Elimination Chamber happened. Lots of stuff happened. Lots of stuff going to happen. Pardon, sorry, my bad. I'm gassy. So we got a lot of things to do talkies about, and I think we can cover it tonight. I have faith in us, not in me, in any form or fashion, but Beef, I have faith in him. He can steer the sinking ship that is this podcast. Speaking of Beef, we have a special episode of the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast for you tonight. We have the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast presents The Best Friends. That's right. It's a two-man show, and it's not just any two-man show. It's The Best Friends. It's Beef and Ransom. We're doing the podcast all on our lonesome. That means Tinker, Taylor, Soldier, Poot is off tinkering and playing and doing whatever he does. He's lost in the woods, I think. Clearfield has woods. He's probably lost. The mouth of Northwest Pennsylvania, he's out. He's out. He's doing home decor. So he's going to have to, talk Andy's ear off and change the subject on her tonight instead of on me. Ha ha, buzzing! Hey, look, maybe the things that I say are true. Maybe the things that I say are not true. That's for the audience to decide. But what I know to be true is I have leaves in my garage. I have Beef on the mic. I'm Dummy Dum Face, who says dumb things because I'm dumb. And we got a lot to do. So, Beef, as always, the bridge is yours. So let's do maximum warp into whatever you think we should be doing first.
So it's a special episode. It's not the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. No. It is the Butler Bulldog Broadcast. All right, that's how we're gonna roll. So the mouth of North Central. What you call them? The mouth of
the mouth of Northwest Pennsylvania.
He's not from. We're Southwest. You I'm gonna buy you a map for Christmas, man.
Are we South?
We are. Northwest is like Erie.
Well, I mean, I'm sure with as much as he talks, they hear him up there too.
Oh boy, we miss you guys.
I'm kidding. I kid.
It's fine. This is the jokey portion. Hi everybody.
Yeah. Have you met me? I'm a dummy. I say dumb stuff. Get over it.
What are we talking about? Wrestling, right?
Allegedly,
yeah,
I'm sitting here offending the other people of the podcast. But
fine.
Yeah, we probably should be talking about wrestling.
It's probably all fine. It's probably all fine. Yeah. So let's start with the picks. That's always a fun place to start.
All right.
Especially when I'm not ready. But
I don't even know what matches are happening.
Well, we'll talk about that. I'm gonna do a real quick recap of the scores for those of you playing at home. Pretty much, if you played at home last time, just add 10 points. Just add 10 points to your score, unless you're Scooby, in which point you can add 5 points to your score, bringing you to a grand total of 5 points. Congratulations, Scooby Dooby Doobert.
Crap.
The rest of us are all at least in the 20s now. So currently,
I'm an idiot. I'll bomb it. It's fine.
We have Poot with some chicanery at 23,
Holy.
Dave at 23, and Amber at 23. Pat at 22. Ransom, Beef, and Tom at 21.
Yay! The trifecta.
and Scoobert, Doobert, Doobert as 5.
Let's not talk about
So
that. What happened? Oh, did he not pick
he
the
had
first show?
no, he did pick the first show. He just did it terribly.
Oh dear.
He didn't do great on the second show, but I mean, at least he got points. So there's that.
No.
Um, yeah. So quarter one is still wide open. I imagine quarter one will probably end with WrestleMania. Um,
So there's what? Revolution and
WrestleMania, and I guess Stand and Deliver. If we pick that, we've been really inconsistent on NXT. So
I'll let the three of you guys decide. If the three of you guys want to pick it, I'm in for picking it. If you guys want to skip it, I'm in for skipping.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Whatever the majority of you guys want to do, I'm good with.
I'll say this: I've been watching a lot of NXT, and it has not been disappointing. Some of it is what you expect it to be anymore, which is kind of like the development brand. Um, but otherwise, it's also fun matches. I'm honestly really coming into Tony D'Angelo's gimmick. I know that we gave him a hard time whenever he first started. He was one of those like the NXT fucking like colorblind gimmicks. Um, Not colorblind, the opposite. Like the fucking tie dye, where
Oh
everybody had
yeah.
some gimmick like the '90s. But like he's really come into his own as like the dawn of NXT, and like I'm really digging it. So like yeah. Anyway, Sean Spears is back, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's a
A lot
good
of good
thing.
things happening. But we're gonna start with AEW because that's where we start. Here are your matches. Ransom, pay attention. Um, in no in in
Ransom, pay attention.
in no particular order. That is to
Golly.
say, not the order we're picking them, but on the order that they're presented on the Discord. Sting and Darby Allin defend the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks in a Tornado Tag Team Championship match. Nope, a Tornado Tag Team match for the championships. Ric Flair, of course, is in the corner of Sting and Darby. Nope,
Starby?
Sting and, I said Ding and Darby.
Ding
Sting and
and
Darby.
Starby. Nailed it.
the old,
12 points.
the best team in the world, Ding and Darby. Oh Jesus. Sting and Darby have Ric Flair, and the Young Bucks are the Young Bucks. Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. Orange Cassidy defends the International Championship against Roddy Strong with the Kingdom, the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Samoa Joe defends the AEW Championship against Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana. Timeless Tony Storm defends against Deonna Purrazzo with Timeless Tony has Mariah May and Luther in her corner. Eddie Kingston defends the Continental Crown and Championship, which of course is the AEW Continental Championship, the Ring of Honor World Championship, and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship against Daniel Bryan.
Jeez.
Nope, Bryan Danielson. Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
ooh. Ding and Starby.
We cut, edit, redo. Eddie Kingston defends the Triple Crown against Bryan Danielson. If Danielson loses, he has to shake Eddie Kingston's hand.
Oh,
Willie Ospreay
what?
will face Konosuke Takeshita. I'm getting better at that. In a singles match because why not? Christian Cage with Mother Wayne, the Kill Switch, and the Prodigy Nick Wayne defends against Daniel Garcia, his AW TNT Championship. FTR face off against the Blackpool Combat Club, comprised of John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. And in the All-Star Scramble match, which was formerly the Meat Madness match, we're getting Chris Jericho versus Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Lance Archer versus Hook versus Brian Cage versus Magnus. No, not Nick Aldis and Dante Martin. Those are your matches.
Could you repeat those?
Boy, no, there is
Oh.
no chance in the world I could repeat those. I'm a little bummed that the Meat Madness match is off.
Can you explain to me what happened there? The only thing I knew about that
Yeah,
match was I saw Tony Storm. No.
Con.
Tony Khan sent out some sort of tweet that was like, due to all sorts of problems,
You
the
do.
Meat Madness match is off, but something else is happening. So
Yeah.
what is that about?
So it was announced that it was going to be Wardlow, Hobbs, and Archer, and two others in the Meat Madness match. The other two were supposed to be Miro and Keith Lee.
What is a
Miro and
Meat
Keith
Madness
Lee,
match?
big sweaty men slapping meat.
Mm.
That old gem, which apparently is really catching some steam. People are really enjoying seeing the big hosses tear it up and beat the living fuck out of each other.
So they're really leaning into the whole meats.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Way to go, AEW.
Well, I'm fine with it. So, but with Miro and Keith Lee on the shelf, they went a different route and instead added Jericho, Hook, Brian Cage, Magnus from CMLL, and Dante Martin. Which is fine. I'm fine with that. The winner of it will win a future AEW World Championship match, aka probably to just get squashed by Samoa Joe. Maybe not.
Oh.
But I mean, it seems like all of these matches always kind of like it's a it's a placeholder.
Right.
Someone wins the match, they get the shot in like 2 weeks time on Dynamite, and then they end up. Although, with all due respect, they have Big Business, AEW Big Business coming up in I think March the 13th, I believe. Yeah. So like they absolutely could end up treating that more like a pay-per-view style Dynamite. In which case it would not shock me if they do a world title change. Especially if it's goes the way I think it's gonna go. Anyway, so we're gonna pick the scramble match first. Would you like to go or would you like me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. So again, there are
Basketball.
9. Nope, something different. There are 9 points up for grabs here. 9 points to be wagered. And our competitors in the scramble match are Jericho, Wardlow, Hobbs, Archer, Hook, Brian Cage, Magnus, and Dante Martin. And I am gonna go Wardlow, and I'm putting 5 points on it.
Five.
I think that this was probably the original design of the match, is that he was supposed to win anyway. When it was the Meat Madness match. So I feel like, them pivoting it into this match to get other people a pay-per-view payday is just giving him more people to powerbomb. I don't know exactly what a scramble match is. I don't know if that's going to be. Well, let's see. A scramble match. It doesn't.
Yep.
Okay, so this is based upon what WWE said.
A
In
championship scramble?
which is not
Something
the
different?
case. Yeah, because there's no title here.
Is it just like is it like pinfall or submit at any point, and then when the timer runs out, you're just the winner?
Well, I mean, what they've been doing, what the hell is the deadline? The deadline matches, they've been like tallying the scores, but again, that's NXT. I don't know how AEW is going to handle this. So it's kind of like, debatable whether it's going to be elimination, whether it's going to be a fucking ladder match.
We have no idea. We have no idea what
yeah,
they're going to do in this match, is what you're saying.
absolutely. But
It's
that's the
going to be
beauty. I
something.
don't think anybody else is going to have any better of an idea by the time they pick. So, that's still counts. Anyway, yeah, I like I said, smart money's Eddie on not Eddie Kingston on
Eddie?
Wardlow for again 5 points. Like I'm not super confident of it, but like I feel confident enough to say that this is pretty likely. But again, I don't like putting 5 points on it, but I don't have any other choice because of some of the other matches.
Well, how many points total?
9.
9. Lord Almighty. 9. And how many matches do we have at the Royal Rumble? 4?
5. 5 at the no. You're right. 4. 4 at the Rumble. 4 at EC.
Okay. All right. That's, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say Wardlow for 1 point because I can't logically think of anyone better to win, but it is AEW, and they've done some pretty bonkers things before. Like, it wouldn't shock me to see Jericho win for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know why he should win, but like, who the hell knows? He could. AEW does love them some Jericho.
I just feel like this is, outside of Wardlow, this is like contest of
Oh God! Oh no! Beef! Something terrible has happened. I've lost. I've lost the beef. Am I still in here? Voice connected. Ransom connected. There's no beef. Well, tonight's been cursed from the get go. So
all right.
just in here. Oh, talking to myself, and he's back.
Weird weird things happened there. My like computer shut down without shutting down. That was weird. Um
Oh,
yeah.
it's all that
So
smack talk you've been doing on Apple. Steve Jobs' ghost is coming back and haunting your
no,
non-Apple products.
no. Um but anyway, this seems like a buffet, a smorgasbord of people to feed the Samoa Joe outside of Wardlow. Wardlow seems like he's the only like reputable contender here.
But if they're just going to
So,
feed people to Samoa Joe, I
well, that's what I'm
I
saying. I
almost
think I
hope
think
for
that this
somebody
is
else to win and not Wardlow. You know, I don't want him
well.
fed to
I
Samoa Joe.
I don't think he will be. I think he'll end up winning. I think that the Undisputed Kingdom will end up screwing over Samoa Joe somehow. Um,
Oh,
and we'll end up with Wardlow winning the title and like having to give it to Adam Cole, and then which will lead to like Wardlow and Joe feuding, which would be a fucking great summer feud. And then Adam Cole can go and do other title things. But yeah,
oh,
that
wow.
that was my thought process on it anyway. But yeah, I mean, so you're going. You said Wardlow won, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Moving right along, we're gonna look at the FTR versus the Blackpool Combat Club in probably the best match of the night. More than
Yeah.
likely, I can't say for sure, but like this smacks of actually, yeah, this card fucks, man. Like this is gonna be a
I'm
great
sorry.
card. You heard me.
Okay.
This card fucks. It fucking smacks.
Oh,
It bops. This card is gonna be
and Bob,
this is this is gonna
pop it.
be a really great. Nope. This is gonna be
That's
a
the,
really fucking good card. That's all I'm trying
they
to say. Nope.
usually all are.
No. No cap. I don't know. I've heard mixed things about World's End. I
Oh,
never. I still haven't gone back and actually like watched it. So like I saw enough to know that I was like, okay. I'm good not paying $50 for it. But
oh.
yeah, Revolution is always like a real strong show. But that said, yeah, FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club gonna be lit. Yeah. So FTR Blackpool Combat Club, traditional tag team rules apply. No titles, nothing fancy. No crazy Moxley death matches unless it ends up being one. Who
Uh,
knows? Uh, what do you got?
how many points total did you say? 9.
9, yes sir.
I gotta. I'm gonna hold my fingers up in 9 so I know how many point total there is. My hands getting tired. Um, crap. I want to put a big, high, stupid number on FTR, but I'm always fearful of betting against the Blackpool Combat Club because they always do good stuff. 5 points, FTR.
So we are just gonna kind of swap points here because I'm putting 1 point on FTR.
I have buyer's
Um,
remorse of what I just did.
this is, I think, easily the closest match of the night that could literally go either way, both ways, or no ways.
I'm
Like
sorry.
it could end in a you heard me, it could end in like a fucking double count out. It could end in a double pin. They both could win, they both could lose.
Dusty finish. Everybody wins.
Yeah, so but yeah, that was my strong 1 pointer for the night. I'm like I you know I don't feel confident at all, but I'm hoping FTR wins. Cause let's get back to FTR versus Young Bucks, man. Like let's reignite that shit. Anyway, moving along to that. Will Ospreay, Aussie, oi oi oi, will face Konosuke Takeshita. In a Don Callis is my daddy match or whatever. Um, this I honestly like when it was first like announced. It was like I was like, this is dumb and I hate it. Because they're like, well, we got nothing else for Will Ospreay to do, so he's gonna face off against his Callis stablemate. And I'm like, that's dumb. That's a dumb
Isn't
reason for a match.
isn't Will Ospreay like their new big like sign?
He is until the 13th. He is.
What's the
So
13th?
big business in Boston.
What?
Where they'll show off Mercedes and Okada. But
Oh,
I mean, even still, with those names, Osprey might be the top.
because he's a big deal, Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I mean, so is Okada and so is Mercedes. So, like, these are three of
Oh
the
yeah.
best
Well,
wrestlers in the world. So, like, I think it's like arguing, apples, oranges, and pineapples. Which
but
one you like better? You heard me, pineapples. Um, but so like the more that I see this match, the more I'm coming around to it because I'm like, well, Will's probably gonna jump off from the Callis family and be a good guy now because he's getting the fucking hero pops, and well, they can't really do that as part of the Callis family. So obviously Osprey is winning this match. It remains seen if they turn on him. Like I'm betting that it probably goes down clean, and like after the match they do like a big turn where Takeshita beats him up and Hobbs beats him up, and I was Sammy. No, Sammy's not a part of it. Sammy was a part of it, but now he's not.
yeah,
But like
back with Jericho.
if the maybe Sammy rejoins, who knows? But um, whether that comes now or later, I don't know. I just think that the right move, even though Takeshita is one of their young guys who they're absolutely trying to make a big deal. See 2023. I think that the right move, the only move, is putting Will Ospreay over in his first match with AEW, his first official match as an AEW competitor. So I'm taking Ospreay with 7 points. Ransom?
So there's even though this is his first match with AEW, like you don't think they're going to go the route of like, right, friendly competition, friendly competition. Osprey starts to get like ahead and they screw him over like I don't know, mid match or end of match. Like you think the screwing over will happen after the victory?
I do, because again, I don't think you bring Will Ospreay in to have him lose immediately. I think Will Ospreay's first loss as an AEW competitor will be a big deal.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that they protect him. I think, and they should. If I'm booking Ospreay, I'm booking like maybe 6 matches a year. I keep him very special.
So you give him the
Because
Lesnar treatment.
I do. I have him around more often, because I think that he can talk a pretty decent game. And I mean, to me, I worry about preserving him. So, like,
Like
I treat
physical
him,
health wise?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So I treat him as like, don't, break glass when needed. Um, I'm
Is he
sure that they
around
won't.
like on TVs for like appearances, or is he like gone
No, no,
until he
no.
comes back for like a feud?
No. I think that he will be there. He will be part of it. Um, yeah, I think he's because that was the deal with them, like kind of waiting um for him to finish up his deals with New Japan. That like now he is all there. So like I don't think that there's a situation where he misses very often. I just again I don't my concern again is his longevity. With the injuries he's had, with the way he kind of talked last last year, I would be very careful with him.
Oh, is he
And
pretty
as
beat up?
such, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he took a lot of crazy, stupid, fucking bumps early in his career, and
Oh,
late in his career. Um, but like he's I don't know. Like I feel like they just I would be careful with him if it
yeah.
were me. So I think that yeah, again, I think he's an incredible wrestler, if not the best in the world right now. So I wouldn't necessarily rule him out every single Dynamite. I would keep him pretty fresh, keep him pretty special, so that like you know, almost like MJF, to where like if you want to see Will Ospreay, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Fair point. That being said, give me Osprey for 6.
Yeah, I think it's almost a foregone conclusion. And I could be wrong. Like you're absolutely correct. It could you know they could continue to fucking protect Takeshita to the moon. I just don't see it, man. I feel like for what they paid Will Ospreay, which I think he's making good money. They're gonna treat him like a Rollins or a Lesnar or a Roman Reigns. I think that they're gonna treat him like a big star, like that he is.
Well, that's good. Good to hear.
Uh, yeah, man. Orange Cassidy defends the International Championship against Roddy Strong with the Undisputed Kingdom. Adam Cole not mentioned, but with the Taven and Bennett. Who I'm digging. I was on the fence with the Undisputed Kingdom for a while, but I think I'm here for it. Like I'm here for it, kind of combining those two factions, and I think it gives Kyle O'Reilly an interesting like arc when he comes back as well. Um,
Is he injured?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. I think he's still with AEW. I don't think that's changed. I know that Bobby Fish was in and out before Roddy Strong ever showed up, so we never
Yeah.
got like the true undisputed era. But I mean, again, like once Kyle O'Reilly's back in full force, we'll see if Bobby Fish comes back too. But that
Oh, you
said,
think he
yeah,
will?
I do. I think he was like, well, O'Reilly's off injured. I'm gonna go do my own thing, see if I can't make some money. And yeah, when he comes back, he's
Oh.
like, oh hey, look, it's Adam Cole. It's Roderick Strong. It's Kyle O'Reilly. That's my buddy. Let's go make some money and get over.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, Strong versus Cassidy. Who you got?
Oh. Ah. Ah. I don't
Welcome
know.
to the Ransom Voice Hour.
Ah. Yeah. Ah. Ah. Okay. Um.
AS ASM Ransom.
I'm gonna do. You know what? Let's. I don't want to put it and get weird, but
That
I
man's
don't
got
know.
Hank, can it be me?
I could see them. I could see them putting maybe the belt on Strong because this faction is like new and hot and get your eyes, get the maybe I mean I am stupid, but maybe I'm being stupider, still stupid. Screw it, Roddick, Trodick, 2 points.
Peter.
Huh?
I typed Scott. There's no one in this match named Scott.
Scott. That's your new name, Roderick Strong. Your name is Scott.
Old Roddy Scott. Best manager of the office ever. That's what she said. I like. Yeah, I'm vibing. I'm vibing, Ransom. I think that Roddy Strong wins here as well. I think that this is step one in getting the Undisputed Kingdom some belts, so that when MJF makes his triumphant return, he can wreck every single shop of the Undisputed Kingdoms. But yeah, this is step one, and I think that you know, fucking Roddy Strong deserves it. The fucking Messiah of the Backbreaker. Give him to me all the time. I love Roddy Strong. I don't like that he's been like marginalized to like a guy that's been known for like wearing a fucking like neck brace and screaming. "Ah!" But you know, like people have used weirder sticks than that to get over.
Sure.
So get over, and then once you're in the limelight, like fucking show out.
Then
So
yeah,
yeah,
show what you can do at that point.
exactly. And I mean, Roddy Strong's just ridiculous enough for it to work. Yeah, give me Roddy Strong or Roddy Scott for Great Scott for 2 points. Um,
Oh, Roddy Scott.
I'm I'm sorry, everybody. Everybody listening, be like, man, I'm fucking cashing out till Boone Tom come back. That's fair. I don't blame you. This is yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. Uh
This is infinitely better. What are you talking about?
I've had my moment. That's all fine. Next, we're
Roddy
going to be
Scott.
looking at Roddy Scott, Great Scott, Timeless Tony with Mariah May and Luther versus the virtuosa Diana Perrazzo. Also, you get to hear me kill Ransom like via not being able to breathe. So that's fun. I I
Ah,
will not I will not go down on a manslaughter charge. Um,
he did it.
but yeah, Tony.
It's recorded. He did it. Somebody get him.
Tony versus Deanna. Again, this is like a fucking dream match, and again, we're in the span of like I don't know a year and a half. We've gone to being fairly uncertain about AEW's women's division to the point where we're talking about it having a lot of heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, Jamie Hayter when she comes back, Mercedes, obviously. Soraya. She may not have it
Yeah.
anymore, but she
Yeah.
still has name recognition,
Ah.
which I think is important. Um, so like, and more importantly, I think they're like segueing that into younger talent too. You're getting your Willow Nightingales over. You're attaching Mariah May to Tony Storm. You have Harley with Soraya. So like you're the Sky Blue, another one is getting like crazy over right now. Like
Yeah.
you're getting your young ladies over. And yeah, they may not be like the crispest, but like you put
Oh.
these people like Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, Mercedes, Renato, Monet, whatever she's gonna be called, Jamie Hayter. You put the belt between these ladies, and they can carry it. They can put on banger matches while the young pups learn, and
Yeah.
then in 2-3 years, you're sitting real pretty. So, good on them. That said, um, you know, I I think that Deonna Purrazzo is a great wrestler, and I think she's got a great look, and I think she got a great gimmick. There's not much about Deonna that I don't like. It's just bad timing. I think that Toni Storm is super hot with this gimmick right now,
Yep.
and I honestly think that Toni is gonna hold the title until Hayter comes back, which ought to be any fucking time now. Heading into the late spring, early summer, like I think that we'll be seeing a Jamie Hayter's return. Um, given her history with Toni Storm, I think that makes a lot of sense. Maybe she helps Toni Storm snap out of the whole like golden vintage era thing. Who knows? But so I the title is Tony's to lose right now. We'll see what happens when Mercedes shows up. Um,
Oof,
as
yeah.
a fan of AEW and of Mercedes, I hope they don't go the route of like, hey, we have, one of, if not the best women's wrestler in the world signing on, here's the title. Like, I don't like when people do that. Like, it's okay
No.
to bring them in cold, give them a feud or two,
Yep.
really get them set up for success, and then be like, okay, now it's time.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that it is still timeless Tony's time, and I'm going to say for 6 points. What about you, my good friend?
Um, I used 5, 6,
You have, yes, sir.
7 as well.
You have not.
No. Okay. Um. ew. Yeah. I'm gonna say. Tony for 7. I just. I agree. I like. Uh. Peraza.
I think either's fine. Parazzo, but Parazzo,
Perazo.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
I like her. I think she's super talented, but I don't know. Like, you don't. You don't smash the light bulb when it's burning brightest. Like Toni Storm is doing it's just phenomenal work. And I don't think it makes a lick of sense to take the title off of her at this point. I think you're right. I think when Jamie Hayter comes back, that might be like things might be up in the air at that point. Maybe Toni Storm holds the title until Sasha Borks gets her foot in the door, has a feud or two, and then Sashnado Vermone is the one to take the title off of Toni Storm at that point. Um, I don't know. Toni Storm is she's killing it, and I don't know. I think it's a bad idea, bad move to take the title off of her when she's doing such a bang up job.
Let's say this. I don't know that timeless Tony has a lot of legs left.
Oh.
I I think it's great for what it is, and she is really killing it. I just don't know like how deep it is. You know,
Think it's gonna fizzle out pretty soon?
I don't say fizzle out because again, like that's just like with the Roddy Strong thing. Like if you got something that's goofy, but it gets you to a stage where you have the opportunity to put on bangers and show off and be like, "Yep, I might be a goof, but watch me fucking work." Um, yeah, like that's absolutely kind of the goal here. But again, all of that said, I just like, to me, I don't know that there's a ton of walking room left in this one, which works out
Hmm.
well because, again, I think that Jamie Hayter's coming back sooner rather than later, and it's going to be an immediate hot shot to that title. And, from there, maybe we get like a crazier version of Tony Storm, which I think would be even more fun. So, like, yeah, I think there's definitely places that can go to it, but I think like its current uh incarnation is not necessarily long, and by that I mean couple months, 3, 4, maybe 5 months. Because I mean this has been running since last fall.
Oh yeah,
Again
it's been a minute.
with yeah. So and again, like not that there's anything wrong with it. It's funny. It's a great shtick. I feel like you know WWE especially has had a problem with like running things into the ground. You know, the whole fucking like Peter Griffin stubbing his knee, like to where it's funny, it's annoying, it's funny again. All right, please stop. All right, it's time to move on. All right, we're done here. Okay, it kind of worked. But like like that kind of thing. I think that Bloodline is like the biggest point of that right now.
If The Rock is here now,
That
he's going to really revitalize and do good things.
has done some good things. I will say that. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit. But like he's reportedly, he's seeing the big picture, which I think is important. Um, but like again, like it's just something where um they have been known to pick up the ball a little bit later than they would have or they should have, and then not do well with it. So
Oh
I think that it's important to know when to get off. When
yeah.
when to make the jump. Nah, easy. When to make the jump. And I think that's we're probably closing in on that with the timeless Tony.
Yeah, easy.
And speaking of making the jump and knowing when to quit,
Oh.
let's talk about it. AEW presents Sting's last match featuring Revolution.
Featuring Ric Flair.
All right. I'm a WWE guy. I'm a WWF guy. Have been for a long time.
Go ahead.
So WCW was never like my thing.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. I think it had its moments in the sun. I think that Sting is an awesome character. I think that Steve Borden's an incredible wrestler and a super entertaining character. I think that the character arc, the work that he's done with the character, I think that Sting is what you dream of when you are a child and you think, I want to be a professional wrestler. You think of Sting, you think of The Undertaker as kind of like career longevity, how to change, evolve, and become the best version of yourself. All of that said, my God, am I tired of hearing Sting's last time in Bakersfield? Sting's last collision. Sting's last time waxing his eyebrows. Sting's last dynamite. Sting's last solid bowel movement. Can we
Oh.
stop with this?
Well, they're
I get
capitalizing
it.
on it.
You know what? As a businessman, I get it. As a fan, it's going over the top, but as a businessman, absolutely. You have one of the biggest legend stars of the business in your pockets. You're gonna ride that till the wheels fall off. I understand. And again, I kind of agree with it. It's fine. I'm just tired of hearing the words Sting's last. That said,
No.
On Sunday, Sting will have his last match in the wrestling business. You cackle. I wonder if you find that disingenuous.
um. Well, what's the thing that he likes to say? The only thing that's for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure.
That's fair.
I will believe that Sting has wrestled his last match on Sunday when he is dead and hasn't wrestled since Sunday. That being said, I'm not pressing for Sting to pass away. I'm just saying, like, I will be 100% sure that this is his last match when there is no way that he can have another match. Because, I mean, he's buddies with our idol, Slick Rick. And Ric Flair has retired. Ric Flair has retired more times than I have offended people. Which is to say, he's retired a lot. So, I don't know. Sting could be one of those guys where he's like, you know what? I've done it all. I'm happy. I'm at peace with calling it quits. Like, I don't need it anymore, and I'm at peace with letting go of this part of my life, and I'm going to enjoy retirement. He very well could be that kind of guy, and you know he probably is. This probably is Sting's last match. We might see a guest appearance here and there, maybe. That I wouldn't rule that out. But as far as an actual match goes, this is probably it for him. It probably realistically is.
Dude's
Yep.
64.
Yeah.
Meaning that he could have started collecting Social Security 2 years ago. And he might be. Sting may be actively collecting Social Security, but also getting paid buckets of money by Tony Khan.
Do it. Do it.
That said, I remember thinking when he was in TNA, like, man, Sting's getting up there.
Yeah,
And then
right.
he went on to have a great career in TNA. Came to WWE for a cup of coffee and had an impressive couple of matches, and like had a nice footprint there. And then, yeah, like now with AEW, he's I won't say revitalized his career, but he certainly found some longevity.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He's dove off of
the
things
old
that I never would have thought he would have dove off of in AEW.
doing the old last hurrah, right off into the sunset type thing. So yeah, I mean it's probably fun for him to work with a guy like Darby who's fucking clinically insane, and it probably makes him feel a little bit younger. All that said, like yeah, dude, like just you want to come to commentary, cool. Like you want to be like a fixture doing other stuff, that's cool too. Like just you don't have to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I'm so tired of the meta of pro wrestling where you retire and then you come back. It feels like anytime a wrestler has retired, not because of physical maladies,
Yeah.
but like of their own volition, they're back within a couple of years. So like I feel like sometimes it's cool to, and I mean like this is, if you're Steve Borden Like, how else do you picture your last match? You're going out fighting the best tag team in the world right now. You're going out with one of the top young guys in the world right now at your side, and you're defending a championship. Like, if there's a better way to go out, I'd love to hear it.
Um,
So, hmm?
before we do pick on it, I pick on it. Hurr! Um, you had mentioned like the old wrestling meta, the old wrestling stereotype. um, it's been called a tradition by wrestlers and historians and fans. But do you think the whole like tried and true you go out on your back thing, do you think in 2024 that's still the best way to do it, or do you think what that's that's been history, that's been done, but that's also kind of like one of those things that a tradition that started back when kayfabe was a thing, but you know that's long kayfabe's long been gone. We know so much now about the inner workings and the behind the scenes, and wrestling companies are openly showing us those things now too. Do you think the old adage of you go out on your back still stands true to this day, or do you think wrestlers with historic careers like the Undertaker, Sting, whenever Edge decides to retire, do you think they can go out on a victory, go out with that feel good moment, or do you think that still needs to be the way things are? You're going to retire, you go out being pinned, and you ride off into the sunset with your last match being a loss. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking. Um,
I mean, I get it. Like that's the way things always were. But that that also came about during the time of kayfabe. When wrestlers and companies pretended that this was all not what it really is. I'm not going to say
sure.
fake. It's not fake. Like I can't. I don't want to say like they pretended it was real because again, that's kind of like saying it was fake. But like, you know what I'm getting. The people that listen to the show know what I'm getting at. I I can appreciate it to one standpoint, but like on another hand, like when you have somebody like The Undertaker, Sting, I'm not unhappy to see them have their final moment in an industry that they gave their life and body to entertain us. I don't necessarily know that it's a bad thing to have one final feel good moment. You win your last match, you go out in a victory, your hand is raised, you get to say goodbye. You go out, the crowd cheering you, you get your the one last victory, you ride off into the sunset, a hero. Like, is that such a bad thing? Do you have to lose to retire?
Yeah, right. You know that I'm a wrestling traditionalist, so
Yes.
like maybe I am a little biased, but like I think that you absolutely still go out on your back.
Hmm.
Um, not necessarily because of kayfabe, but because you're showing it how it's done the right way. You're putting the next generation over, as it were. when Terry Funk retired, quote unquote retired in the early
Oh,
'90s, he lost to Bret Hart, um, who was like the champion at the time. Ric Flair lost to Shawn Michaels, who was still in you know, his heyday. You know,
well, I mean,
ish. He was still
are you really
he
putting
was.
over the younger
Uh,
generation whenever you're losing to Shawn Michaels at that age?
I mean, all right.
The
That
hair
was
was
more
already
of
starting
like
to go. The eye was going cattywampus. Like
that was
he
that
was
was more, I
less a
guess,
boy toy
symbolic.
and more, one of those grizzled, hunky men.
I
I said
yeah,
it. Fuck you.
I think that was more about like the passing of the torch of like the greatest of all time from one to another. But it turned out it didn't matter anyway because Ric Flair would come back and wrestle Hulk Hogan on some "fuck you" TNA Thursday Night Impact show.
Mick
So like,
Foley and
yeah, like yeah, all that fucking pageantry, circumstance, the tears, that's all fucking out the window because Ric Flair is a greedy, lecherous old man who can't die quick enough. Um.
jeez.
Anyway, I feel like it's still the smart thing to do, and I'm betting, the fucking Bucks are making a pitch, like, "Hey, let us loose." Tony's like, "Dude, come on, you can go out on top. You win, you retire. Darby finds a new tag team partner, whatever." Or like even fucking Darby's like, "Dude, listen, Steve. You've helped my career go from mid to like main event level. Like, let me take the fall here." I don't see it happening. I don't see Sting just because he was part of that era. 20 years from now, maybe, we don't see guys like fucking I don't know,
Huh?
MJF maybe? He
Oh,
might still be around. Guys like fucking um Bronson Steiner, guys like that, you know, when they're retiring, maybe they get that one last hurrah. But because it's I don't know, it's hard to say, but again, I think business wise, it's smart to have a legend put over, you know, a young guy, and in
so
this case, putting over the Bucks, I think is the right call.
I I uh I don't know how to phrase this without. I could see that being more important again back in the day of kayfabe,
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
but like today, when we all know how much we know about the industry as it is, as a fan, does it really make that much of a difference to say the Young Bucks beat Sting in his last match, or the Young Bucks were in Sting's last match? Knowing how things are predetermined nowadays, does it really mean that much more to say, oh, I beat Sting in his last match? Well, yeah, the victory was Young Bucks win. You didn't beat Sting though. Like before the match, it was agreed upon. Like this is going to be the outcome. Back in kayfabe days, it was like, oh man, this person retired. This person, he beat him in his last match.
Yeah, but I
Now,
still, I still think that has some credence, though. Like even though
I
we
just
all
think
know that
we
it's
know so
predetermined.
much. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
think
but I
we know
mean,
so much
still,
about it
like,
now. It's like
but you know
it
what? Like,
makes.
you can take that transitional knowledge and say
Yeah, yeah.
when the Young Bucks are like, I retired Sting. Like, yeah, okay, it was predetermined, sure, but also someone a booker took a minute to think enough of you to give you the the gun to shoot Old Yeller. So
Well,
like
it's
that's how I view it.
this was already going to be Sting's last match, though. So it's not like the Bucks are saying, I retired Sting. Sting was retiring no matter what. Like, you didn't retire Sting. Sting retired.
That's fair.
This isn't a stipulation of if Sting loses, he has to retire. Then it could be like, well, I retired Sting. But he's like, hey, I'm going to have my last match. This is my last match. Everybody knows because it's been my last everything for the past month. So you're not really retiring Sting. Like, he's like, I'm done.
Sting's last croissant.
Yeah. Oh, Sting's last catering. But like, I don't know. I don't see. And maybe maybe this makes me a bad wrestling fan, but like, I don't see a big difference between saying like, oh yeah, like I was in Sting's last match with him. Like the last match Sting ever wrestled, I was in that match with him. And I don't see a difference between saying that and saying I beat Sting in his last match. Well, yeah, the 1, 2, 3 was kind of for you, but like, I think the emphasis nowadays is more on being involved in that match, whether you're a partner or an opponent, and the match quality itself. I think that's more important as a send-off and as a passing of the torch than saying, this person, like, I pinned Sting in his last match. Well, I don't know. The end result at the end of the match is always still kind of like the same. Like, the Young Bucks aren't going to be standing in the ring at the end of that match. Like, let's say they win. They're going to pin Sting. They're, going to, say a quick thank you to him, and they're going to roll out. Sting's going to be left. So why not let Sting get that win? He's going to be standing in the ring at the end of the match anyway. Have that hero's, hurrah, that one final hurrah. I don't know. I get what you're saying, but like anymore, I think like that's an outdated tradition, and like let's send some of our childhood heroes off. I don't know, riding off into the sunset, like, the conquering hero, the victor.
Yeah. And I hear it and I don't disagree that I think that there's definitely some room for that. But like I don't know. To me, I I think like you know how it is. You know how the wrestling biz is. You go out on your back. Like that's just the rule. You go out on your back. Who wants to be the first one to break that? Who wants to be the first person to buck tradition and say fuck that? I'm not doing that.
Now, like, but how are you
Like
how are you
you
how are you talking though? Because technically, it wasn't the Undertaker's last match against AJ Styles,
it was, but like that was not necessarily like
and it wasn't technically Steve Austin's last match against Kevin Owens.
that's accurate. I can't
So
I
while
can't say
yeah,
much
they're
of
not
that.
traditional, like, traditional matches, like technically,
All right,
if you're
that's
thinking
fair.
about it, like the last time the Undertaker had a match, yes, it was a cinematic match, but it was a match. There was a winner and a loser. The Undertaker won. Steve Austin's match with Kevin Owens, like it kind of like built up as like an impromptu thing. It was supposed to be a, KO talk show, but it wound up actually being kind of like an impromptu match. So sure, it wasn't a traditional match, but like it was still like a start, a finish, a winner.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I don't know.
No, like I said, I get it. I completely understand what you're saying there. I completely didn't think about Austin. I had thought about Undertaker. My the couple things I thought of were yeah, he had AJ Styles, but like before that, I think his last big thing was what? Roman Reigns. So like I think that's, something that hangs in my brain
Yeah.
is the Roman Reigns defeat at WrestleMania for Undertaker. And again, like I know that did happen, the Boneyard match for whatever. Um but yeah, I guess so in that line of thinking, I guess you're right, I guess that tradition has already been bucked. So that, you know, Sting should feel free to win his last match, right? That said, are you picking Sting and Darby?
Oh no! Do I have my 4-pointer?
You do.
One day I'll at least have a piece of paper when we're doing picks and writing numbers down, so I know what numbers I already used. One day. One day when I'm not a terrible podcaster and friend. Ah. 4 points on the Young Bucks.
No balls.
Oh God!
Dead. Oh boy.
Help!
The
Help!
Broncos got him. Help! Help me! Help me,
Help
Tom
me!
Cruise!
Help me! Oh.
Uh,
Oh, well, I've died. You're not talking to the ghost of Ransom. Same
I,
bullshit, just
I,
transparent.
I, I was. One one could argue that your transparency level was always pretty transparent, my guy. Um,
Oh God, it's getting
um,
worse.
oh boy. Uh, I was prepared to ridicule you and call you you're that poot now when you put when if you would have picked Sting and Darby. So like there was no good way out of this for you. I had I I had both barrels cocked up anyway, so I had I had both barrels cocked up ready regardless of the situation. So
God. Well, I'm dying, so welcome to the beef cast because he's the only one left.
I
Ransom, welcome to die.
I I'm I'm picking the Bucks as should be no surprise. I think that wrestlers should go out on their backs. I think that Sting is a guy that I think that Steve Borden is a guy that believes that wrestlers should go out on their backs, and I believe it or not, I think that Tony Khan is a guy who thinks that wrestlers should go out on their backs. So I think that Sting will go out on his back, and even though it's a tornado tag, and they can get away with it being Darby taking the fall, I think that Sting takes the fall. It would not surprise me if this match made events. Would not surprise me if, like, immediately after the match, he gets a standing ovation and there's crying and Lex Luger comes out and, everyone's like, that's Lex Luger now? And everyone's like, yep, that's Lex Luger now. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think that the Bucks win. 8 points. I think this thing gets to retire. I think that Darby Allin gets to go and climb Mount Everest. And, well, I think this might be maybe the last we see of Darby Allin, too. But yeah, Young Bucks, 8 points. Another fucking banger of a match. Eddie Kingston versus Danielson for the modern Continental Crown Championship. And if Danielson loses, he has to shake Eddie Kingston's hand, which is a neat little side gimmick on this one. I like the code of respect here, and Danielson being a Ring of Honor guy, and Eddie Kingston forcing him to adhere to the code of honor. I think that's all pretty neat little facet to this. It's gonna be a fucking clobberer though. It's gonna be a hard hitting match. So strap in. Uh, I like Eddie Kingston here. Just because I think to his detriment, I think that Bryan Danielson is too giving. I think that he's willing to lose every match he has left in him. Just because that's the kind of dude that he is. So I think that while it may help, you know, them to have him have the Continental belt and the Ring of Honor belt and the New Japan Strong belt, I think that would be really cool. And but at the end of the day, I think that Brian knows it's probably a good idea to lose Eddie Kingston. So yeah, I'm picking Eddie here, 3 points. Again, I'm not super confident, but I do feel good enough about it that I could say kind of definitively that I feel like Eddie Kingston is the right call here.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that sentiment. Eddie Kingston for 3. For all the reasons that you said, and yeah, I I think you're exactly right. I think Daniel Bryan's the kind of guy that's like, you're gonna have me lose. Okay. I don't think he puts up a fight. I think if all right, look, you're gonna lose this match. Okay. The next big pay-per-view. All right, Hamdrag, look, I think we're gonna have you lose this match. Okay. I don't think he bothers with the win-loss. I think he's just happy to go out and do wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the win-loss means anything to him, honestly. And to be fair, I don't necessarily know that at this point titles mean anything to him. I think he's just content and happy to go out, have a great wrestling match, entertain some people, and go home. I think that makes him happy. And whether he's winning or losing, I don't think it matters. I think being able to go out and put on a banger of a match, I think, is what matters most to him. And I mean, really, Eddie Kingston at this point, he's another one of those guys that has found his stride, and he's riding high with these titles. And I don't think now is the time to break him away from that. Capitalize on the momentum that he has for as long as he has it. When momentum starts to wane, okay, let's think about maybe, switching things up a bit. But I just don't think the time is right now for him. I think he's going to continue to sail on, at least for a little bit longer.
I would agree with all of that. I think that yeah, and honestly, I think he was a guy that wanted to get to the top of the mountain and be recognized as the best in the world by winning the WWE title. He did that. He did it at WrestleMania. He did it at WrestleMania 30. So yeah, I mean, it's it's a big moment, think about the moments at the WrestleMania that ends in zeros. You have your Bret Hart winning, you have your Benoit winning, and the embrace with Eddie. You have Daniel Bryan winning, and now potentially Cody winning. Kind of big moments, So I think once he hit that, I think that things changed a little bit, and more importantly, I think that after he was forcibly retired, and then was able to come back, I think that he kind of viewed that as a new lease on life and viewed it as like, yeah, like, fuck winning, fuck losing, fuck the titles. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to entertain the fans because you never know when it's going to be your last match. So, absolutely. I think that he, has a different mindset now, especially the father. I'm sure that probably plays into it as well. But yeah, it'd be neat to see him, win the Triple Crown. I'd be fine with it if it happened. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, Eddie Kingston should have won. This is the worst thing ever. But like I feel like Brian winning doesn't mean as much as Eddie winning, and that's I think is important to kind of note here.
Yep.
Christian Cage defends the TNT title against Daniel Garcia. Christian with the patriarchy in tow. Mother Wayne, the prodigy Nick Wayne, and Killswitch.
Mother Wayne.
Dude,
What the hell?
Christian's another dude who is like finding the best moments of his career at the end of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a world champion. Yeah, he was the ECW champion. Yeah, he was Impact champion. Those are all really good moments for him. But like to me, like this is his best character work I think I've seen him do.
Oh my gosh. Is it ever?
At least in like 20 years. His stuff with Jericho when they were feuding with Trish Stratus and Trish Stratus turned on Jericho WrestleMania, like that was pretty prime peak Christian too. But
Yeah.
like this is like, that evolved.
Yeah. This is a whole nother level.
The fucking turtlenecks. Just
wrestling in the turtlenecks.
and by the way, your father's dead. Like it's so schlocky, but
Yeah.
it fucking works. And like the crowd is like eating it up. And like when he's talking to somebody, like they all know it's coming. Like when he did it with Daniel Garcia was like, "Don't do it, don't." And Christian was like, "Oh, go to this address," and somebody fucking Googled it and posted on the fucking Reddit. Of course, it was a fucking cemetery of Daniel Garcia's dad. So like, fucking people know, and it's stupid, and again, it's schlocky, and maybe it's in poor taste. I don't know, but man,
it's not. It's wrestling.
Is it fucking over? Yeah, I mean, this is the same sport that had fucking Big Show or Boss Man haul off Big Show's father's casket while Big Show's hanging on to it. So,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess this is about par for the course. So yeah, Christian versus Daniel Garcia. What you got on this one?
Sorry. Have I used my 2-pointer?
You have 8 and 9 left.
Oh, whoops. No, didn't plan this out. I'm the poot now. Let's say Christian for a big whopping 8 points.
No, you're not the poot until like, damn it, Beef, you planned this. You planned me to have only my 8 and 9 points. You set this up. You're right. I absolutely did. Nailed it.
Dang it. You set me up.
I think you're safe here. I think this is a good pick. I'm thinking Christian. 4 points just because you never know. Like Adam Copeland can get involved, during the match, after the match, whatever, and
you set me up. Son of a bitch.
That was my only hesitation for not putting more points in this match is like what's gonna happen. Like, does Adam Copeland screw Christian out of the title to like bring him down?
Can we be done with that though? Like for a little bit. The Adam Copeland and Christian, like
I think, like because they haven't even really had a match though. Like that's the thing. Like they did,
I know,
but they didn't.
like they you're right. They did, but they didn't. But my God, it feels like it's just been one of those things that's like, oh, we get it. Edge and
Sure.
Christian from WWE, we get it. Like, it's still going on here. Sorry, excuse me. Move away. Move away from it. Come back. Like, if you want to have a big blow-off match at some point, come back to it. But, like, let go. Do something else. Copeland, Adam, KG.
Let it go, Edgy.
Yeah.
I hear you, and I think, absolutely. Like, we could be on borrowed time again with Edge, Adam Copeland, because who knows how much longer he's going to be around. But again, like, if he's like, yeah, man, I'll sign with your company, and he's like, but I want to work with Christian, like, exclusively for the first year, like, how are you going to tell him no? Like, it's pretty much his call. So, like, I don't know. Like, I see both sides of the coin. And I think, for what it's worth, I think you're right. I think that it's probably a good call to split them up, at least momentarily. I just don't see them doing that. And that's another one that wouldn't surprise me if they move towards, like, a blow off match at Big Business in a few weeks, again, trying to make it a pay-per-view quality show. That said, last match of the night, last match of the picks anyway. Samoa Joe defending against Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Hangman showed up on crutches at Dynamite and was like, well, I'm not going to be in the match. And, the Swerve was like, oh, you know what? I've really come to respect you. This, that, and the other thing. And then Samoa Joe came out and flapped his gums. And then Adam Page hit Swerve with his crutches. Like, oh, Adam Page isn't actually injured. He's going to be in the match anyway. Which was a neat little, part of this, but maybe a little bit overbooked. I don't know. Like, Swerve is hot right now. Like, Swerve is white hot. If they made a title change and put the title on Swerve, I wouldn't hate it. And that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I just don't think it fits into their plans. And, like, we've crucified WWE, for not kind of rolling with the water. For not having, Daniel Bryan main event WrestleMania until he, like, forced their hand. So I get it. I'm having trouble talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but, like, I feel like, yes, Swerve is the hot hand, and they should absolutely capitalize on him. But also, like, I think that they booked a good year-long, thing with the title, a year-long story here. With MJF and Cole. And yeah, like, it got kind of put on the shelf a little bit because Cole got hurt. And then MJF took some time to, recover some injuries. And I think Samoa Joe's kind of bailing him out here. But at the same time, I don't think you need to, hot shot the title from Max to Joe, from Joe to Swerve, from Swerve to Adam Cole, and then back, from Cole to MJF, all in the span of a year. Like, I think
No,
that's
definitely
not great.
not.
I think that's not great.
No.
Great, especially with this title that's been so prestigious. Like, it's
Yeah, that's a bad move.
they've done a good job of really making it feel important. So I'm putting 9 points on Samoa Joe because I think that makes sense. Again, if Swerve wins, I'm not gonna hate it. I'm as my buddy Greg says, let him cook. I'm gonna let him cook with it. I just feel like you don't want to move the title all that often, and I think that they could be running into that if that's the plan with the whole MJF Adam Cole thing.
Yeah, I echo that same statement. 9 points on Samoa Joe. I'm with you. I wouldn't hate it if Swerve won, but at the same time, like that to me almost kind of feels like, oh, we're caught in a buffalo. We have to throw an audible. You're our audible. Okay, on one hand, yeah, you get the title. So like that can't be taken away from you. You won the title. But on the other hand, did they really was it really my time? Did they really feel like it was my time, or were they forced into it? I don't know. I'm not a professional wrestler. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Like Swerve could walk away and be like, I got the title. I don't care how I got it. I don't care if you had to, like, I don't care if I'm your alternate. Like, if a couple people got hurt and you had to switch things up and the title landed on me, good for me. I win. But as a fan, I would almost rather see them keep the title on Joe until this story arc plays out. And then when it Swerve's time, give him a nice, long, healthy title run. My fear is he doesn't get that here. He doesn't get a long title run. He's holding it until somebody gets healthy or somebody comes back.
Yep.
And
let me,
yeah.
Let me hit you with these days, right? 182, 277, 346, 197, all respectable reigns. 87, 59, 11, 3, 59. You know, that was the summer of Punk. As as much as it belies me to say, that whole fucking Moxley Punk back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, that did more to hurt the prestige of the title than I think anything else has. And then with MJF, you get a 406-day reign. So like you put it back to where it belongs. And now Samoa Joe's at 62. So like, and I know I talked about Wardlow potentially winning at Big Business in a couple of weeks, which, you know, again would be a kind of a short reign for Joe. But the other side of the coin is like maybe he loses, and then like we get Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe at Double or Nothing. At that point, that would add another what, like almost 90 days to Joe's reign. Putting him in like the 150s, which again is, you know, I think respectable nature. I think a good championship reign. You know, if you get to like 150-ish, you know, if you're approaching the 6-month mark, I think that's a good title reign. So yeah, I don't know, but like I'm looking at those numbers, and it's just jarring. How like if they were very like staunch in like how they were treating it, and then it became something else altogether. Um. So yeah, and again, like I think that, you know, um, injuries hurt them with that. I think that Punk being a bit of a diva hurt them with that. You know, that I think I don't blame on them so much. It's just bad circumstances. Uh, that said, like I said, I think that they're trying to get back to it to where it's going to be a decent amount of, you know, days in a reign.
Yeah, and I think it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, you know, again, do I think that Wardlow will beat Joe? Probably not. Maybe because again, just because of some chicanery. Um, because again, I think that they kind of had to punch some of this up on the fly
Yeah.
with the Adam Cole thing, getting hurt, with MJF having some like lingering injuries that he's kind of like let heal. You know, he's they're I think that we're kind of in like bonus coverage at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that they're still kind of working with punching it up on the fly, but I think that they're eventually going to settle back down into it with MJF and Cole for the title at Wembley this year. And I would be shocked if they went any other way than that.
Yeah. That seems like the big ticket card to have is those two, because I think that's going to draw the most eyes. That's going to have the most people invested. I think that's the way to go. As long as everyone's healthy and can do it, that's the one. That's the one you put on.
Got the history. They last year's match at Wembley. So like you bill it as MJF Cole 2. Except for this time they're not best friends. Yeah, there's a wonder of ways that they can go with this. So
Yes.
All that said, that's Revolution, baby, in the
Re-
books. Yes. Do we want to cut here, do another episode, or just keep rolling? I'm good either way.
Rolling.
Rolling. Roll on, we will.
Send me into the abyss.
So, what are your thoughts on the Elimination Chamber?
Aside from the fact that there's 4 matches.
Lemmy Chambles, as my my buddy Benz calls it.
Lemmy Chambles.
Lemmy Chambles.
As far as the Elimination Chambers goes, again, I think the women's Elimination Chamber outshined the men's. I think the women's match outshined the men's match, just like the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was overall better. I will say that I think the 2 big highlights, at least entertainment-wise for me, in the men's match were Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. Like, seeing some of the things, like when the entrances were coming, some of the things that Kevin Owens was saying to people. Bobby, look up! Don't fall! Don't fall! And Logan Paul getting the marker and writing on the cage, drawing pictures of Kevin Owens. Like, I know this isn't the Logan Paul show, and I acknowledge that, but every time this dude is in the ring, every time he's in a match, all I can think of is like, look, I get it. When he was a YouTube guy, maybe he did and said some questionable things. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. Some people get a little bit more sand in their gutchies than other people. I never followed him on YouTube. I had no really big idea who he was when he was a YouTube guy back in the day. Never knew him. Never watched his stuff. Didn't know him. But I can tell you this. As far as being a wrestler goes, like I compare him to having the wrestling, the acumen, like catching on to professional wrestling like Kurt Angle did. It's like Logan Paul woke up one day and went, I'm going to do professional wrestling. And then he just did it. Like he said he was going to do it and then just did it. And did it like he's been doing it for years. Microphone work, in-ring work, crowd work. Shut up. This guy, it's like it's like he watched it and went, oh yeah, I get it. Like I get it. I understand. And then he just went out and did it. All the praise in the world that I can heap onto Logan Paul as a wrestler, I will, because I think he is absolutely tremendous. Would not be upset in the slightest one day to see him win one of the big 2 titles. I hope it happens, actually. I really do. But yeah, I think him and Kevin Owens were the shining stars of the men's Rumble match. Look, Nia Jax didn't hurt Mummy. Everybody walked out of that match okay, so I call that a victory. I think I'm in your camp at this point, Beef. As long as Nia Jax isn't hurting anybody, fine. Like I'm not. I think I'm done shitting on her as a wrestler at this point. Like I agree with you. There's been growth. There's been, she's learned. She's getting better. She's getting better in the ring. And as long as she's safe, as long as everybody's safe, everybody walks out unharmed, zero problems anymore with Nia Jax. I really don't. I can't have an honest gripe with her at this point. I thought it was a good event. I won't say I was whelmed. I love how Poot says I wasn't underwhelmed. I was whelmed. Like, I wasn't ecstatic about it. I wasn't really disappointed about it. I was like, yeah, it was a pay-per-view and I watched it and I'm okay with it. I think I'm a little bit higher up than whelmed. I don't think it was as good as the Rumble. I think the Rumble matches were a little better. But as far as the pay-per-view went,
I feel that sentiment like almost exactly. In terms of the Nia Jax thing, I was ready for story time with Beef the Legend Baby. So, uh, as many of you will be shocked to find out, I used to do backyard wrestling, and like in my opening forays in it, I always wanted to be like the face, and I always wanted to be like the dynamic athletic face, like the Rocks, your Buff Bagwells, your guys that could captivate an audience but also put on a hell of a show. And did very poorly at it. Very, very poorly at it. Because it wasn't true to myself and who I was. And my friends would always say, you need to lean into who what you are. Like, you're not athletic, not an insult, fact. Um, just be like this big stupid monster, like be like a big Van Vader type. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And I came up with the Mastodon character and I excelled and I had fun with it and it was a lot of fun. And I did better because I leaned into what I was. I say all of that to say this. I think that Nia Jax had a very similar predicament in that I think that she was trying to compete outside of her wheelhouse. I think that she has fallen into more of a groove with being like kind of a monster heel. And understanding that she's not going to be necessarily a champion, but she's going to be a foil for a champion. There is no shame in being a monster heel that causes a champion grief. Either to lose a title to them eventually or to be, look at Earthquake. Dude never held a world title, but my God, was he great at what he did. Look at Big Van Vader. Again, he did hold world titles, but he knew his role was to put over your Stings, your Ric Flairs. So I think that her falling into this is a good thing. And yes, you made the point. As long as nobody's getting hurt, that's the important part. Speaking more of the chamber, though, absolutely, women's match dwarfed the men's match. Like there was no doubt in my mind that and I loved the ending of the women's match. I thought it was really fun how it was kind of like bang bang bang, something that we hadn't seen before. So that was a lot of fun. And it solidified that not only is Tiffany Stratton the future, like she is the present. Like she is the star of tomorrow today. Like she's young, she's got tons of charisma and tons of athleticism. Like is she the cleanest wrestler? Uh-uh. Can all that be fixed? Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and the fact that the crowd is absolutely in on Tiffy time, I think I think we saw the beginning of her skyrocket. The other thing I'll take away, and you mentioned Logan Paul. I am a Logan Paul fan. I will unequivocally, unabashedly say that. Like, yeah, he was a dickhead on YouTube. Like, I'm a fucking dickhead on YouTube. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Except for Logan Paul is much more successful and financially gifted than I am. So like, we're all we're all young and dumb. The difference is he was young and dumb in front of a worldwide audience.
Yeah.
Um, I I just gave a story about backyard wrestling. We're all young and dumb. We all do dumbass fucking shit as kids. Um, but like moreover than that, I think he is a tremendous, tremendous professional wrestler. Uh, and again, just like with Tiffany Stratton, like is he always going to be the cleanest in the ring? No. He is a work in progress. Absolutely. He is somebody who is at the forming of his career, and what I hope is going to be a long and prosperous career. But like he took to this like Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle stepped from real wrestling to professional wrestling and said, "I got this. No big." Like few other people have had the ability to transcend what they do and just go, yeah, I'll do that. And he is the king of big moments. He is really good at making you miss and forget the small shit that he might miss
Mm-hmm.
because he's doing a lot of other big things that you do remember. And that is what is ultimately most important. Just like I mentioned with the Undertaker thing, like yeah, Undertaker had the match with AJ Styles, the Boneyard match, but people don't remember that. I mean, they do, but like the big thing they remember is Roman Reigns standing over him triumphantly at WrestleMania 33. So like, you know, eh, make the people remember what you want them to remember. That's the important part, and that's I think is what he gets more than anything. They're protecting him. I'm not so here's my problem. Obviously everybody again except for Scoop scored 10 points on this, which was the absolute max. So like it was beyond predictable. We all could see it coming. They've been booking Becky versus Rhea for about 3 weeks now, maybe longer. They've been booking Drew in the main event, since Punk got hurt. Like this is all kind of a formulated, foregone conclusion. Um the thing I didn't like about the men's chamber is that it didn't transpire as I thought it would. Um, I loved Drew getting all of like the shitty wins though. Like I thought that was really apropos.
Yeah.
I love that Drew was on his way out of the match by LA Knight until AJ Styles took him out. I thought that was a brilliant play. And then from there, Drew just took like the shitty wins. And that's kind of like his MO right now. Like, whoops, CM Punk's not around. Guess it's gonna have to be old Drew. Like, whoops, Cody's going to SmackDown. Looks like it's gonna have to be old Drew. Like, he's playing it so well.
Yeah, he really is.
So like I have no umbrage with him winning or the Drew versus Seth match at WrestleMania. I I'm a little bit beleaguered in like where they're heading with the matches for WrestleMania. And again, I'm I don't want to have a knee jerk beef reaction here. I want to try and let them cook. Um best case scenario for Logan Paul in the US title, we get Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles and LA Knight, and like and maybe Braun Breaker, in like a big multi-person fuck you match.
Ladder match for the title
I'm
or
fine with that.
not?
I'm fine with that. Um, Ladder, table, chair, I don't care. Like whatever, fucking scramble, fucking Survivor Series style elimination, I don't care. Like,
Oh,
I I think that those guys all together could work magic. Reminiscent of like the WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 22 ladder match, with like all the big stars in it that I think CM Punk won. No, that was Mr. Kennedy. Uh, Fuck, who was
oh.
22? Anyway, my point remains that I think that with that kind of star power in one match could be a really great match. I think worst case scenario, at least for me, is getting AJ Styles versus LA Knight individually, and Randy Orton versus Logan Paul individually. Not because they'd be bad matches, I just am not as invested in that. And also, what do you do with KO? So like on the flip side, rumors seem to be swirling that like there could be a multi-man intercontinental title match for WrestleMania with
Yeah, I
like
was wondering, like,
Gunther
what are you doing with Gunther?
and Gable, maybe Bronson Reed, um,
Oh,
Sami Zayn, um, a bunch of other people have been floated for it, which I think is fine, but somebody projected that, and then like I was reading the comments like, oh, it's a great way to protect Gunther. Like, yeah, but you're also taking the longest intercontinental heavyweight title reign of all time and ending it without somebody getting a rub.
yeah.
I don't think that that's smart business. So if I had my whimsy, I I would say, give me, maybe Braun versus Gunther, which is weird because they're on different shows. I know that. I'm not an idiot. I know that, but I mean, WrestleMania is the time for crossovers. Um, give me Dom versus Gunther. Give me Priest versus Gunther. I think that would be wonderful as well.
Oh,
I think
yeah. I
any
didn't
of
think of
those,
that.
any of those matches, I think work out well. Um, I just think that if I think the smart money is right now on Gunther losing that title. Maybe at WrestleMania, maybe soon after, but like it's got to be soon and it's got to be now because he is destined for greatness. And I think that they will probably put a strap on him in Germany. And they'd be dumb not to, or have him walk into Germany with a strap. Either way, like the bash in Germany or whatever it is, like um, they'd be dumb not to focus on him. So like the time is now. They got to make that shift. It makes sense to me to have a singles match here, but then have the big like multi fuck you match on SmackDown. And it seems like they're like inverting that, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I
Are
don't
they?
think
What are they doing on SmackDown? What do you mean? How did they invert it?
like they're looking at Paul versus Orton individually, maybe adding KO in there, and then having LA Knight versus AJ Styles individually, and I don't like any of that.
Oh, just on a SmackDown.
No. At WrestleMania is what I'm saying. Like on the
Oh, oh,
SmackDown
oh,
side of things,
oh.
I
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
just I just don't see that. Randy Orton doesn't need any more WrestleMania moments.
What?
Like he has beaten The Rock and Mick Foley. He's taken The Undertaker to task. He's won, the WWE title at WrestleMania several times. He was part of like the best RKO of all time at WrestleMania. So like he doesn't need any more WrestleMania moments. I think he's at a point in his career where he should be helping I don't want to say pad matches out, but like helping young guys succeed in making good matches great matches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
Shift into
like
that
that was my
mentor mode.
right, exactly. And that was my only umbrage with the chamber is like I don't like where it's heading. Um, yeah, I mean the tag match was incredible. I'll say that. Like those four guys busted their asses, and Dom Mysterio is crazy over as a heel. Incredibly so. So like there was a lot of good. And like again, yeah, I mean, was Rhea versus Nia Jax like the best match in the world? No. Was it fun? Mm-hmm. Was it awesome to hear Rhea Ripley get like, the heroes pop? Yeah, that was a
Oh
lot of fun.
yeah. Yep.
The superplex that she did to Nia looked really good. The riptide that she did to Nia looked really good. Like I think that they both did their jobs well.
Yeah. I mean, anything I think I see Rhea Ripley do, it always looks good.
Yeah,
She's so good.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, in a way too early prediction, I think that she should beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Um,
What?
Absolutely.
Wow. I thought you were all for Rhea Ripley losing the title at Mania. Like I thought you were like, all right,
No.
the time has
Hmm.
come. It's run its course.
I I think it has, and I think the time has come, and I think that she probably does need to lose it here in the next few months. But I think that there's going to be a ton of other title changes at WrestleMania. I think that, again, I think that we see the U.S. title change hands. I think the WWE title changes hands. I think the United States title changes hands. I think that or no, probably not the United States title, unless they go with the multi-man match. Intercontinental title, though, tag team titles. I think that the other women's title, the women's WWE championship, I think that there's going to be a lot of title changes.
You think the
So
Intercontinental title's changing?
I do. I do. So I think that
Jeez.
the women's world title is one. Again, we've seen Rhea Ripley have um, great matches with Charlotte at WrestleMania, where she beat her, where she challenged her as an upstart rookie, and Charlotte beat her for the NXT women's title, which was whatever. But then she went on to have a great match with Asuka the next year for the Raw Women's Championship, and then had fuck, who'd she face last year? Oh, she beat Charlotte last year. So like Rhea Ripley is really hitting the King's Gambit here, of like amazing WrestleMania matches and amazing WrestleMania wins. I think that much like the the same sentiment that I had with Seth Rollins, with Randy Orton, I'm gonna say about Becky Lynch. I think that Becky Lynch doesn't need any more WrestleMania moments. Like I think
Jeez.
she is someone who is a top tier woman. I mean, let's not mince words. Her, Bailey, well, I mean, really, her, Charlotte, and Sasha were the ones who ushered in the women's revolution. Like Bailey was absolutely part of it too, but she kind of came along after. And yes, Paige and AJ Lee laid the groundwork. That Natty too. They crawled so that they could walk. So like, but so that's what I'm saying. I think if you have Becky Lynch put over Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, I think that that's a huge stamp of approval. Because then you've had Rhea beat Charlotte and Becky in back-to-back WrestleManias. Like that's a feat
Oh
that
yeah.
you're not gonna have topped. So, from then on, like she's made. She is a made woman in WWE. Um, so like that's why I think it's important for that to be the case. Now, will it come to fruition? I don't know. You know, people love Becky Lynch with good reason. She's amazing. You know, I just talked up all of her wonderful accolades.
Yeah.
She's awesome, and she is the man. So, like, I have no umbrage if Becky Lynch beats Rhea Ripley. I don't think that that's a bad decision. I just think that it's a better decision if Rhea beats Becky.
Wow.
I don't remember how I got to that discourse and how I started making predictions for WrestleMania already, but like we're
Yes.
here. Um, but yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
No,
so like,
I want you to follow the prediction course of WrestleMania. I'm a little surprised that you think the Intercontinental title is changing hands.
I do. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that Gunther, like, he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, right? Like, you can't. There's nothing more that you can do outside of going back in time and beating Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10 in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title. There's not much more that you can do to be the best Intercontinental Champion of all time. You know, he's defended the belt. He's had great matches. He's had it the longest. Like, what else can you do? Moreover, um, you know, they're going to be in a little bit of a time crunch here because again, they have Bash at Berlin coming up at the end of August, which I understand sounds like it's a long time away, but time's a son of a bitch, and
Yeah, well,
that's my
tomorrow's
20.
March already, so
Yeah,
it's not that far.
that's my 2024 slogan. Time's a son of a bitch. So, all that said, you know, yeah, like they do have roughly 6 months, but also like in wrestling time, like that's not a ton of time.
It's like
Like
dog years.
assuming, yeah, exactly. Like assuming you want Gunther involved in the world title picture, assuming you want to have the title, you know, Drew win the title, which I think that they, you know, is kind of where we're heading. If nothing else, to give Seth Rollins a nice little respite. Like that means you want to get you know, the title on a face theoretically, because you know Gunther's a heel. Maybe not. You know, maybe Drew carries it to Bash at Berlin and loses to Gunther there. But again, like you have to start setting stuff up. So I think that it is time, you know, for the Intercontinental title to change hands. I really do. You
Jeez.
you don't feel that way about it?
I mean, I guess the way you put it here, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're figuring that Drew's time is not Drew, Gunther's time is Bash at Berlin, and you said that's what, August?
Late August, yep. Last weekend in August, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, when else would he lose it and have enough time to build up like a feud for a championship match? You can't have him lose it at SummerSlam. That's not going to give enough time to build into that championship match.
Yep.
And with a title reign, as long as he's had it, you would kind of feel like if he's going to lose it, he should lose it at one of the big ones. And that's what,
Exactly.
WrestleMania or SummerSlam. And if SummerSlam's too late, well, you're left with Mania because there's nothing else in between Mania and SummerSlam that's, you know, one of the four big ones. Well, I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean, if if we're factoring in Gunther into the championship match at Bash of Berlin, and again, it's in Berlin, why would Gunther not be in the championship match? And honestly, why would he not win the title there? He would have to lose the Intercontinental title at Mania. Dang. Yeah, okay. I guess I rescind my outburst of disbelief there, because yeah, it does make sense for him to lose it at Mania.
And pop quiz, like, who has the most combined days as Intercontinental Champion?
Combined.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mini stump the chumps. It's Gunther.
Really?
628 days is the longest combined reign, like the longest individual reign, but also the most days combined. Next would be Pedro Morales with 617. So,
Oh,
yeah, like, he's done some work. And again, like, he has the longest individual reign and the most combined, days. He's had, I think, one loss on the main roster. Yeah, like, there is literally nothing else that Gunther can do with that Intercontinental title at this point,
wow.
unless he
Talk about
drops it.
protecting somebody. Like, they've
Yeah,
done a very good job with him.
unless he drops it and wins it back 9 more times. There's nothing. There's no other record he can have with the Intercontinental title. So, yeah, like, and again, like, I respect that they've done a lot to make this important, and they have. I just, it, you know, I think that the light clicked on for everybody with Gunther last year at the Royal Rumble, where he went, you know, um, number one to the end. So, or Cody did that. Never mind. He went number two to the end.
Yeah.
Either way, like, so, like, he proved his mettle there. He had an amazing match at last year's WrestleMania, and has been really putting on great clinics. Yeah, there's nothing more that Gunther can do here. So it's time. Let's give somebody else the Intercontinental title. Let's put him on a bigger stage. And again, if I had my druthers, I would put the title on Braun. I would have Braun beat Gunther at WrestleMania, take the title back to SmackDown, and have the United States title transfer over to Raw. Somebody maybe put somebody in from Raw in, like, the big fuck you, like, United States title match over there. But like, that would be my druthers. But I think, second place to that would be Dominic Mysterio beating Gunther. I think that that's the other way that you can go, because if you believe reports, Dom was supposed to face Brock Lesnar at Elimination Chamber, and Dom Dom was supposed
Man,
to eliminate Lesnar in the Rumble.
I remember hearing that.
So, uh, is there a guy in the company that could do more with the title than Gunther? Absolutely. Dom Mysterio could. Dom Mysterio could take that title, and he would be a fucking lightning rod with it. People would be waiting on bated breath for him to lose that title. And every match that he somehow sneaks through and slithers through with it is
uh,
another, like,
imagine the
month
heat.
or 2 months. Just outstanding. And again, like, if you go back in time 2 years, 3 years, where we were talking about Dom Mysterio, like, we had nothing nice to say about him. He was terrible. We hated the fucking white face baby meat thing. Like, it was bad. It
Oh,
was bad. It was
he's
bad.
come so far from the days of being in a tag team with his father
Yep.
to being in the Judgment Day. Like, oh my lord, he got no reaction. Like, people didn't care. Like,
Nope.
oh, it's Dominic Mysterio. What do you freaking do? But now, oh my gosh, he probably has the most heat. He probably has the most heat compared to anybody else in the WWE at the moment. Like, you
Yep.
know, sure, Roman and Rock are big deals and they get big crowd reactions. But as far as like pure, genuine heat, I mean, I really think Dominic Mysterio is it. And I think the company recognizes that as well, because if the rumors were to be believed, and I don't know why they wouldn't be, as seeing as how he eliminated, did he eliminate Braun Breaker?
He did.
So if Braun Breaker took all the spots that Brock Lesnar was supposed to have, the rub that you're given to this kid to have him eliminate Brock Lesnar and then theoretically have a match at WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, like, I mean, they see it. They see how he is able to cultivate a reaction from the crowd, and they're capitalizing on it as well as they should, because when you have somebody that can work the crowd like that and get heat like he can and get that kind of reaction, I mean, the kid's doing something right.
Absolutely. Did you know that we're only going to have, uh, well, I'm only going to be a part of 4 more shows until WrestleMania. Well, 4 more weeks of recording. Um, I'll say it again. Time's a son of a bitch, man. It's wild how fast shit happens, and that's why I'm saying, like, I think that we're gonna, you know, pedal to the metal here. We're gonna start seeing how WrestleMania's gonna play out pretty quick. So,
Yeah, it's what, first weekend in April?
sure is April 6th and 7th.
Mother.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, and I've we have this should have been the WrestleMania with the fucking roller coaster. Because it has literally been a roller coaster that we've been
Oh my
on.
gosh. It really has.
Um, high highs, low, and I mean, even me personally, like, high highs, low lows. Like, I've gone from like wishing nothing but like pain and suffering on Drew McIntyre to really hoping that he wins the world title because of how great he's doing. Um, and like I think that we're going to be treated to 2 nights of really good matches. I want to sing the praises of The Rock for a minute. Um, because excuse me.
Huh?
Not only because he was able to pivot so quickly into becoming like that old heel Rock.
Yep.
Like, he made that change so fast. But if you believe reports, like the way that it went down, and again, this is all alleged. I don't think we'll ever know exactly how things happened. But allegedly, what had happened was that that Cody was told in the fall that he was going to face Roman Reigns, that he was going to win the Rumble, face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That was what he was told in the fall. The day of the Rumble, that was changed, and they said, Cody,
Oh,
you're winning the Royal Rumble, but you're not going to face The Rock at WrestleMania.
The Rock.
And Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. The Rock. From there, and I don't know that these are credible sources, so like I'm not going to quote them as scripture. But what I read was that Cody was basically going to give his spot to The Rock
Ugh.
because Cody was going to get injured, quote unquote injured.
Oh.
And he would hold on to that number one contendership for a time later down the road. But basically, because he would get hurt, he was then going to then let The Rock have his shot at WrestleMania. And Jesus Christ, does that sound terrible?
Yeah, it really does.
Like pulling your hottest face off of your biggest show of the year with a fake injury angle. I I can't even fathom the fucking brain trust that put that together. And like we can't even blame that on Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he was
I
gone
don't
by then,
know.
right?
Yeah, like I don't know if that was a Rock decision. I don't know if that was a TKO decision. I would hope it wasn't a Triple H decision
Yeah, I really want to blame somebody else other than Triple H for that idea.
because I feel like he's smarter than that. But and again, like I can't say unequivocally that that's exactly what was on pace to happen. That's just what I've read. But getting to my point here, The Rock apparently made the call to pivot. Like he heard excuse me, he heard the rumblings and he felt the quell. Like he could feel the tides and he was like, this isn't good. Like people are going to boo me versus Roman
Oh my.
for 40 minutes straight. The whole
Oh
match is
yeah.
going to be a chorus of boos, the entire match. We want Cody, CM Punk, you know, fucking Kenny
JBL.
Omega. Yeah, like it would have been a shit
Someone's gonna
show.
bring a beach ball.
It would have been a shit show. I think that he saw that and went, you know what? Like, we need to be smart about this. Let's fix this. And so apparently The Rock uh single-handedly, I don't know how true that is either, but like apparently he was the one that made the call to pivot and was like, all right, let's do something different. So now it's looking like they're going to lean into a tag match on night one, and then Cody versus Roman on night two, which in theory could see The Rock turn on Roman and cost him the title and give Cody his big moment, and then set up The Rock versus Roman down the line. For the
Seth
stupid,
versus Drew on night 2 as well.
I think so. Yeah. Which sounds silly to have both of your world titles on the same night, but like when you have, The Rock saying, I'm going to be part of WrestleMania, which, he is. Like he's like, that's a given. The Rock saying, I'm wrestling at WrestleMania. It's kind of making the best of that situation. And again, from a business standpoint, The Rock's a megastar. The Rock is a guy who has a lot of cachet. So yeah, I mean, if The Rock's gonna wrestle, he's gonna get some eyes on the product for sure.
Yeah.
So like again, I understand. I don't agree, but I get it. So like I think that
Mm.
having The Rock and Roman tag against Cody and Seth on night one, which is where they're kind of headed, I'm fine with. And then each of them defending, Cody or Seth and Roman defending their belts on night two, I think makes a lot of sense to me.
So one of the things that I saw a lot of from that Rock promo when he came out with the Bloodline was, and I don't know if people are making like if they meant to do it or if people are seeing what they want to see. But like when The Rock said the line, "I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you walk out of WrestleMania a loser." like it looks like he turned and pointed at Roman Reigns. Maybe he was just turning and pointing at a camera that was over there. But like a lot of people are
Oh,
making a big stink about how like from the one camera angle, like it looks like he turns and points at Roman Reigns when he says, "I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power to make sure you walk out a loser."
that's interesting.
It's they're making it sound like he's talking to Cody, but this one camera angle that people keep posting about online, like he's facing straight hard camera the whole time, but then when he says that line, he turns and it looks like he's pointing over towards, he's looks like he's facing Roman and pointing towards Roman. And again, I don't know if he's pointing towards, a camera guy that was up on that particular turnbuckle for that camera shot. I don't know. But like go like Google that clip or like look it up on YouTube and you'll see where like he's pointing straight hard camera the whole time until he says, you're going to walk out of WrestleMania a loser. And at that point, like it looks like he's turning and pointing at Roman. At least that's what a bunch of people were making it out to be. Like, oh, it's The Rock saying that he's going to make sure that Roman loses. Is he going to turn on Roman? And then at the end of everything, when they did the bloodline, finger point of doom up in the air, The Rock's got his thumb out, making it look
Yep.
like he's putting up an L. Like kind of like hinting at like, oh, he's gonna turn on the bloodline. Like, I don't know. Do you think people are reading into this, or do you think these are things being deliberately done to sow the seeds of The Rock turning on Roman at Mania and turning face and helping, ensure the Cody victory?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yep.
You think at the
I
end of night 2, The Rock is a face and he helps Cody?
I do. I do. And I saw the clip and yeah. It's real fucking interesting because they chose to make that camera cut at that exact moment where he turns and he's pointing, and because of the camera cut, he is absolutely pointing at Roman Reigns. That is fucking incredible. I had not heard that. That if that comes to fruition, that is fucking a masterstroke of production. Because that was not accidental.
You don't think so?
Because no, because it's a hard cam on him, on the Rock, on his face, like a close up. It cuts away to that like longer shot,
Yeah.
and it comes right back to the Rock from the chest up. That absolutely was no accident. So I've never seen that. That's fucking interesting. Yeah, the whole I was just having fun with it because with the Rock putting up the thumb because that's kind of the Bullet Club thing too. Guns up.
Yep.
So I'm like Rock the Bullet Club confirmed.
Rock's in the Bullet Club.
Right, exactly. Guns up, brother. So like that, but yeah, I mean all of this makes. Oh,
Jeez.
but you know who wasn't Bullet Club?
Cody.
Cody sure was.
Oh my.
It's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
But you don't think any of this was like a mistake?
No,
You don't think the thumb out on the one thing was just like, oh, The Rock wasn't paying
no,
attention, or
no,
it's all deliberate?
dude. I have been watching The Rock intently for 30 years, damn near, as like one of his biggest fans. Nothing The Rock has done or I think will ever do is accidental. He is a student of the game and knows how big of a deal the littlest eye roll or like raising of the eyebrow can be.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that is absolutely not accidental at all. And now that now that I've seen that clip and now that I've heard this, like I'm absolutely putting it fucking together. The puzzle pieces are coming together, man. He's absolutely gonna screw over Roman. And
Oh
probably face him
man.
at SummerSlam, or Bash at
Oh.
Berlin, or they still haven't announced SummerSlam this year. And Bash at Berlin is like in its usual time slot, like the end of August. Now I know that they have been doing SummerSlam a few weeks earlier here and there, recently. But yeah, I think that I think that yeah, and I mean like this was the way even before the I found out about this. This is what I thought was going to happen, is that they'd have a tag team match on night one, and honestly, would not shock me if Rock and Roman win on night one, and if Cody takes the
Oh.
pinfall, and then yeah, night two, and they're gonna cut back to it, the whole like the Rock whispering in Cody's ear, um, and like Cody's like fucking like dead eyes, like that again. None of this is accidental, I don't think. Uh, I think that this is all absolutely well planned. And it could be, the only thing I don't like, that means that it's gonna be another fucking overbooked fuck fest at
Oh yeah.
WrestleMania main event. I was really hoping for Cody to just get a clean win. But I guess nothing with the fucking bloodlines easy. Um, the other thing that I thought would be really fucking cool, because not Cody's promo, Seth's promo on Monday night, that he was talking to Drew, and Drew was like, "Listen, lad, like you're gonna get yourself hurt, and you're gonna have to forfeit the title maybe before WrestleMania, or something bad's gonna happen if you keep poking the bloodline." And Seth's like, "No, man, you don't understand. Like the bloodline is bigger than you. The bloodline is bigger than me. Like the bloodline's bigger than all of this. Taking those guys down is like, what we need to do right now." And like the way that he made that impassioned speech, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm like ready to march to war with Seth Rollins. So like, I would
Wow.
love to see a fucking group of people come out, like fucking Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, guys that the bloodline has screwed over. Maybe even fucking like Finn Balor on the Judgment Day. People that like have been wronged by the Judgment Day, and like stand against them as they like try to interfere. Solo comes out and they just like form a human wall. Maybe even like for emphasis, have like Drew McIntyre come out and be part of that, kind of like a little bit of like a redemption arc for him. Like there is just so many cool things. I thought to myself that would be really neat if they did. Um, so yeah, it's very clear, at least to me, that like they are putting the bloodline, like this is gonna be finishing the bloodline story, not just Cody's story. But I think that this is like the end of the bloodline, or at least the beginnings of the end. And I know that I said the same thing with the Usos last year, but like I feel like this is like Endgame, where like all of the superheroes are coming together to beat a fucking world beater threat like Thanos. Like this is gonna be, I think, something similar, where you're gonna have a bunch of people work to aid the Roman not getting away with murder again.
Now, do you think that all happens? You did say something about like a WrestleMania main event being overbooked to hell.
Yeah.
Do you think that happens in that main event with
Yeah.
with Roman and Cody, or do you think that like some of it transpires in the tag match on night one?
Oh, I think it all goes down on night 2. I think that,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's gonna be fucking crazy. It's gonna be wild. But I'll tell you what, like, as far as like overbooked nonsense goes, I think it's gonna be the best kind of overbooked nonsense. Um, I think it's gonna be fucking wild and fun. Like you might see, you know, Jimmy try to come out and then Jay stop him. And then like as Jay's like trying to put Jimmy down, like out comes Solo to put out Jay. And then like out comes Sammy to try and help, even the score with Jay. And like, maybe him and Solo get into it. And then like out comes Kevin Owens who's trying to aid in the fight. And all the while like Cody and fucking Roman are just going, punch for punch, blow for blow in the ring. And
Oh my
like,
heavens. Oh Lord.
you know, eventually fucking like Rollins gets involved somehow, and maybe like I said, Drew comes out and lays a claymore on something, and then fucking finally it looks like Roman's gonna win by like some like cheap stoogery, and the Rock probably puts Roman down, and then Cody finishes the job with a couple crossroads, and that's that.
Did I talk to you about that at one point? I think I did. About Cody doing multiple crossroads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
if I brought that up on a podcast before or I just ranted about it in my own skull.
I mean, I don't know. But who knows if it's been an offline discussion or a podcast discussion? But yeah, I think that I think we're kind of on the same page here, where you know, it feels like a crossroads is a setup move to its own finisher.
It is. It is.
Oh, he's hitting the crossroads into it, the second crossroads. Like, all right,
Like it's not.
crossroads
It's
is a
not.
super kick.
Uh. It's not the Three Amigos. That move was designed to be a triple suplex. Oh, excuse me. Also not a finisher. Like I don't know. It's so weird to me when you see Cody do one crossroads into a second crossroads. Oh, third crossroads. Like
Yeah.
you don't see Randy Orton RKO somebody, immediately pick them up, RKO them again, immediately pick them up, and just for good measure, slap a third RKO on there. Like it
You know
just
what? Another move I'm shocked that they haven't been protecting as much anymore? The
what's that?
pedigree.
Yeah.
There have been a couple times where the pedigree's been used and it's been kicked out, and I'm like, wow, that's. And again, I'm sure that's from Triple H directly, so like high praise coming from Caesar and all that. But like, yeah,
I think probably too, like, since he's not wrestling anymore, if Seth wants to use it and kick out of it, like,
what the fuck does he care?
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of like one of those deals in the WWE video game when like you could use a special move to steal your opponent's special. Like, it's not your own. You're just borrowing it. I don't know. Maybe that's not right, but like maybe Triple H is kind of like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? I'm not wrestling anymore. When I did the pedigree, nobody kicked out. You can do the pedigree and have people kick out all day. I don't care. I don't know, but yeah, the multiple
Yeah.
crossroads things is odd to me. Slap one on them, make it impactful, make it matter, make it count, protect the move. 1, 2, 3.
I feel like there was a time where he did a reverse crossroads, and that was like a put away move, and I was like, that's really cool. Um,
I
and I
don't
mean,
remember.
it's the smart way to handle it. Like you're making it look different. And if people are claiming that it's more impactful because you're going the opposite way, it's just like fucking Poot's whole thing about reversing pressure on the figure four. Like, I don't know if it's true or not, but like, if somebody's fucking saying it, I'm gonna believe it. Although with Poot, who
Yeah.
fucking knows, you got to be careful with that guy. Uh,
Oh,
hey, we got to get our shots in now. We got to get our shots in now, while they're not here.
well, they always do that though. Like they always, anytime somebody reverses a figure four, Especially our
Yeah.
Flair. He always lost his marbles. Like, oh God.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. And Gorilla Monsoon would tell you how much that, the ligaments changing positions, reverse the pressure on it, and
Oh,
did this, that, and the
Gorilla.
other thing, and like you believed it because fucking Gorilla Monsoon always sounded like he knew what the fuck he was talking about, human physiology.
Yeah, right. Like, damn, man, this guy knows a lot about muscle structure.
Fucking Jesse Ventura was like, I don't know, I don't know anything about that gorilla, but it looks like it really hurt.
Oh, Jesse. Yeah, I don't know about that monsoon, but looks like it hurts. Thanks. Thanks, body. Appreciate your input there,
uh,
Jess. Damn it.
think we're closing in here. Think we've had a nice long show here.
Yeah, I've
A little
hacked
over an hour and a
in
half.
everybody's ear all fucking evening.
It's fine. Yeah, it's all fine. Nobody cares.
Thought it
It's
was over it.
fine.
Thought it was over it. Damn it.
Shit. When must I enter it?
How dare you?
All right. Well. Oh wait, he puts on here. I
Dead.
guess I'll have to do this. Eat me. Um. Yeah, man, like it's been a great show, and it's been a hot minute since we've done one of these, so uh looking forward to getting back to full strength maybe next week. Maybe you don't know. I don't know. Nobody nobody really knows what's going to happen from week to week with the Pittsburgh Pile Driver podcast, but
We don't even know.
we hope to continue to be bringing you high quality
Huh?
content. You heard me.
Easy. In quotes. High
In
quality. In quotes.
in the meantime, you know what to do. You know who we are. Beep the Legend, Casual Gaming Dad, Ransom the Madman, Poot the Pard. You know our channels. If you haven't followed them already, what the hell, man? Get the fuck on it. Follow, like, subscribe, do all the things. Send emails to Stump the Chumps, which we'll do probably sometime soon. Like, make an effort, damn it, because we're making an effort for you. Damn it. All right.
Tell him again.
Make an effort, damn it. We're done. Just shut it off.
Check
Ransom,
it again.
do the no, I'm not checking it again. Do the thing. Shut it off. We're done. It's over. Go home.